Hello everyone and welcome to Sorted Food.
Today we're going to be taste testing and talking about a bunch of interesting topics in the world of food.
We've got one chef here and two very normal normals, so it's going to get opinion-y.
Okay Baz, you are up first. Lift the cloche for number 1.
Oh, Magic Spoon. Grain-free cereal with a range of flavours: peanut butter, frosted, cocoa and fruity.
This is Magic Spoon adult cereal. Magic Spoon was started by Greg and Gabby, the co-founders, who met at college and both ate cereal for breakfast every morning. According to their backstory and on their website, they experimented for over a year to create cereal inspired by the flavours and nostalgia of Saturday morning cartoon cereal, but upgraded for a 21st century customer.
Complete protein and no gluten or grains. This box contains more protein than a dozen eggs and fewer net carbs than a typical fruit smoothie.
So which flavour are you going for?
Peanut butter sounds the weirdest. Let's go for that.
Is that about what you'd go for at home?
I think so, yeah.
What's the suggested serving size?
Serving size is about 1 cup, 36 grams.
So, interestingly, all of the nutritional information and some of the selling points from the front, they kind of go out the window if you're not testing this fairly.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
So we've got some scales there. We're going to see how a Barry-sized bowl actually correlates to the recommending serving suggestion on the box.
Now there's a set of scales already teared to the bowl.
So 75 grams.
76, so 36 twice. You've gone for just over 2 times the portion size.
Oh,
It's interesting, isn't it?
that is a big portion, but at the same time, I wouldn't struggle to get through it.
We purchased a variety pack, obviously, and it comes with a Magic Spoon. So,
Oh, okay. Whoa, no sugar. The reason I poured a big bowl, because I'm used to eating savoury cereals. Like, for me, this is like reminds me of eating Snicker bars. It's that sweet. So on reflection, I definitely did pour too much.
they use a natural blend of monk fruit, which we've spoken about before, stevia and allulose. It tastes like regular sugar, but has almost zero glycemic impact and almost 0 calories. And they claim that there is nothing artificial in their cereals.
It's almost sickly. Not saying it's unpleasant, it's really nice. It's uber sweet.
All the buzzwords: high protein, keto friendly, gluten free, grain free, soy free, wheat free, naturally flavoured. The only bugbear I have is how can it be grain free cereal? The very definition of cereal is it is a grain.
Oh yeah. Whereas cereal, you crunch, it kind of dissolves, disappears. This sticks to your teeth a little bit, more like when you get like rice crackers, like that.
Oh, okay.
It disappears a little bit.
I don't even mean about a teeth thing.
Yeah.
But it's essentially whey protein that's bound together with oil, sweetened with natural sweeteners and natural flavourings, and then extruded. So ultra processed, but not with the things that you'd associate typical childlike cereals to have, i.e. the sugar and the carbs.
Yeah, a very different spin on processed food.
Okay, let's talk about price. How much do you think one of these boxes sells for?
A posh bag of cereal you'd spend £3 or £4 on. So I'd say these are more like 5 or 6.
They work out about £7.25 per box, which is $9.99 US.
Which is very expensive compared to
Cereal.
cereal.
It could be seen as expensive if you're having it every morning.
Yeah.
If you're having it as a treat or a snack.
I'm okay with it.
Well, let's ask you the question, because everyone's thinking it. Barry, is the Magic Spoon adult cereal a spoonful of magic or a bowl full of tragic?
A spoonful of magic. Edders, you ready? This one's going to be out of this world. Lift the cloche.
It doesn't look real.
It does, does it? It's a toy.
It's the classic Neapolitan ice cream wedged between 2 bourbon biscuits.
But is it?
Have a nibble.
Guess what it is?
Oh, crunchy. This is freeze-dried ice cream.
Correct, Ben.
In the sense that it reminds me of freeze-dried strawberries.
Does it taste nice?
It's very sweet. It's quite creamy.
Okay.
But I feel like there's also an awful lot going on in there, probably to keep it as it is.
Ben, this isn't just freeze-dried ice cream. This is astronaut freeze-dried ice cream. Originally developed for space travel, our creamy, sweet, freeze-dried astronaut food will give you a taste of outer space right here on Earth.
surely, is this packed full of nutrition, I guess? Because if astronauts are going to be eating it up in space, it needs to be full of sustenance.
So again, like this isn't the only thing they're eating out in space. They had a full diet, a range of meals. This just was their special treat.
I get ya. So this isn't like a meal replacement or anything like that. This is just
an ice cream sandwich with no water in it.
It's the technology of freeze drying, which is far from new, applied to a treat so that I guess when you're in space, you don't feel like you're missing out.
How does the freeze drying process work?
So you freeze it to very low temperatures, and then you put it under pressure to get rid of the water through sublimation.
Okay.
But the only thing being removed is water.
Would you have that as a snack?
I don't think I'd want to eat a whole one of those. Maybe there's a place for it, but I think more it's for like the novelty of like museums and stuff like that and getting kids to fall in love with the idea of space, which is cool as a kid. It's cool as an adult.
How much do you reckon a packet of astronaut ice cream is?
Given how expensive the process is, its association to the space program, like astronaut food, its novelty, it's cool, I think you could pay £5 for that.
You can get them on Amazon for £5.30.
It's not something I would ever buy for myself, but I think it would be a fun thing for kids.
So Ebbers, is this snack out of this world, or would you rather have a Mars bar?
It is out of this world. Number 3 will be interesting. One trend, 2 cloches. You've got 2 choices for breakfast. Which would you like? No more context than that.
Peanut butter on toast for me all day long. I assume this is porridge with some banana?
Yep.
Very tasty, but where's the food trend?
Every day, we all make dozens of decisions around food based on mood and place and price and taste and all those things. But there's some elements we can't necessarily track. What this product does is look at nutrition, a level of processing, and its impact on the environment as ingredients. The product is a website and/or an app called Open Food Facts that will enable you to scan products and it will give you the nutritional, Nova, we'll come back to it in a minute, and eco score of products.
Ooh.
So this is something that is available US and UK. It was actually launched in France. It's also available across Europe. They say that Open Food Facts basically allows you to scan barcodes of food products and therefore discover their health and environmental impact.
So you got a Nova score of 4.
So Nova is a level of processing. So raw ingredients, like a banana, that has had no element of processing, it's a scratch ingredient, is Nova 1. In theory, that's better than Nova 2, 3 and 4, which goes through processing. So Nova 4 is ultra processed. So this is a non-for-profit NGO. It launched about 10 years ago, but this year they've added the eco score because we're all more conscious about the impact that we're having on the environment. And basically, it taps into information that's already available, but it is completely separate from all retail and food manufacturing so that it stands independently. Which means that as you're scanning, not only can you make better choices for you, but now you've got the app, you can start to scan other products that haven't yet been uploaded. It puts all that information from the label through their calculations. You can actually help to add to the database too.
What I personally think I like about it is that we always have the conversation, food is just one endless compromise, whether that's sustainability, all of those subject matters. How do I as an individual make a difference? And actually tools like this help you be able to look at 2 products and go, do you know what? This one is better in an eco-wise or a nutrition-wise or its Nova score. This is my way of having an impact as an individual. I like it, but can I trust the algorithm that's put that information together?
From my understanding, I think it's a bit like Wikipedia. 15 years ago at university, we were told not to trust it because it's a bit sketchy. This is open source, there's still stuff adding to it, but it goes through such independent processes and algorithms that it isn't biased based on retailers and manufacturers. What is written on that label, that is marketing to tell you everything you want to know and they want you to know about a product. What this tells you is all the other information that hasn't been considered on that label based on independent information.
It really does open your mind.
It is completely free, as long as you've got a smartphone to download the app, or you can access it on desktop as well. So it's free, no price, but there is one question, of course.
Oh, of course.
Are you up to give it a scan, or simply not a fan?
Oh, I'm definitely up for giving it a scan. Last one,
May
Basil.
I? Okay, I've got these at home, and I can tell you now, they are delicious.
They're kind of also, as an ice cream and a brand, not a new trend.
No,
So what are we looking at, Ebbers?
So Jude's are Britain's first carbon negative ice cream brand.
I'm guessing that's better than carbon neutral.
Yes, so they are removing more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere than their own carbon footprint as a business.
And they're removing it by trees.
Yes, there's lots of different ways they're doing it. So they've actually teamed up with a professor, Mike Berners-Lee's, one of the world leading expert in carbon footprinting, and his team at their consulting agency. So they've come in and given it the official audit. What they then do is make recommendations on how you can both reduce your carbon footprint, but also offset.
Didn't realise they made Jude's maple syrup.
I have a question. The vegan ice cream, kind of get it.
Oat-based.
Dairy ice cream, carbon negative. Knowing that what I know about cows and the impact of farming cattle on the environment, how have they done that?
That's what interested me, because I thought, wow, a carbon negative dairy ice cream. They make one with clotted cream as well, vanilla, it's delicious. There are ways of putting livestock into rotations that mean they sequester carbon, and that is possible in crop rotations. That's not what they're doing here. That ice cream might not on its own be carbon negative, but as a brand, all the things they do is.
So first and foremost, exceptional ice cream. Love it to bits.
You knew that, you already had some in your freezer.
In my head, it's always about just plant more trees, but it's always felt like a bit of a cop-out because that will solve the problem in 10 years' time, potentially. But aren't there things you could do right now within your business to lower your carbon footprint?
100%. And that's what these external audits kind of do, is they take all of that into account. So they've recently changed their entire ice cream factory to renewable energy. They do clever things in water recycling. So the heat that comes off of the ice cream as it cools, they use to heat the next batch of cold milk. So they're doing very clever things to reduce their impact. They're also working on indirect stuff. So they're working with farmers to help them reduce the impact, because the dairy or the oats and whatever else they're using has an impact. But then there will still be, at the moment, until all of those technologies catch up and they change the system well enough, there will still be carbon to catch up on. So then they offset by working with charities that can make a difference elsewhere, because basically we all live on the same planet. So they're working with some cool charities, including one in Australia, to work on huge amounts of trees, because as a planet we need to get to carbon net zero, and these guys are negative.
As an ice cream business, they've got quite a big challenge with most of their ice creams being dairy-based.
They do admit that dairy is still the most costly in terms of carbon ingredient they use, which is why they're introducing more and more oat-based products. What started as one man churning in a dairy barn, I like the fact that you accept the need to change and actually to do something about it and to dig in. I can't imagine transforming a whole factory to renewable energy is a cheap thing to do, but it's the right thing to do.
Nice.
Price-wise, how much for a tub?
Just under £5 a tub.
You can have change, it's £4 a tub.
Okay, good.
So that is a bog standard price for a tub of ice cream like that.
I think they're doing some pretty cool stuff. The question is,
Oh,
hey Jude, are they paving the way, or should they just call it a day?
paving the way.
Well, over to you guys. Would you jump on any of those trends, or perhaps you're already ahead of the curve and using them?
Yes, and if you are, please comment down below with those so that we can check them out and learn more.
Can I have a scoop?
Baz is
I've
literally seeing
smashed
off
the
that.
entire Sunday. Work. Nice.
Lip-smackingly good.
It's not a hashtag ad. Well, over to you.